What is up, chatbots and digital marketing podcast listeners? Today, I've got another fantastic, awesome interview with my good friend Chad Nicely. Now, a little bit about Chad Nicely. He is a kind of an old school marketer, has done well over 8 figures online, and he actually owns two beast software as a service platforms, one being EverLesson and this up and coming one called the Lead Conversion System. Now, Chad, I'm super excited to have you here. We've been working on this literally for over a year now just to get you on the podcast. On top of that, with all the integrations that we've done inside of Segmate. So again, thanks for coming on and showing up, and I'm just excited to have you on.
Oh, thank you.
Before I get started, can you tell us a little bit about the early days? Like, when did you get started, and what gave you that little wild hair to get into this business?
Man, that was a long time ago. I'm 43 today. I got started in my 20s. I got started in 1998. True story. I went to school to be a cop. I did not go to school for marketing or anything else. And, cops at their top wage are making $80,000 a year if they can live to collect their pay. There was something called danger pay. So that took me to $85,000 a year. That was not a lot for the lifestyle I wanted to have. So I started breeding betta fish. You know what that is? Chinese fighting fish. Did you know that a solid Chinese fighting fish with a triple tail is worth about $700?
Wow.
So this new thing called the internet came out, and I was using something called AOL. You've got mail, right? And I was surfing around on my AOL, and I went to a site called Garf, where I went to purchase these rare betta fish. And there was a banner over on the side promising to make me a millionaire overnight. Like, it seriously said that. I'd never ever seen anything like that online. Internet marketing had not been born. It was a brand new thing. I clicked it. I joined something called the cookie cutter. It gave me what is still in existence today, what we know as the license programs. And I had the rights to go out there and resell a product for 100% commission. I basically resold the cookie cutter. And I was on something called ICQ. I was on AOL Instant Messenger. There was no Google. There was no Facebook. And so I was out there hustling, and I made $3,000 my first week. And it was like stealing candy from a baby because nobody had ever heard of this online marketing thing. So through that, I've been off and on. I've had lost a lot of relationships over this marketing stuff. So I get bitter and I get all mad at marketing and I blame it, and then I somehow get drawn back in. So later on in life, I became an entrepreneur, and I went out there and owned restaurants and gift shops and coffee shops in a state called Wyoming. Yes, it is a state. And the problem with Wyoming is there's more people in the city of LA than there is a whole state of Wyoming. So I had all this overhead for rent in the malls and the stores and everything else. I had to learn how to go out there and drive traffic. And so at the time I was using something called Overture. And through that, I became really good at this whole marketing thing. And when you become good at something, people start looking up to you and they want to know, what is it you're doing? What's the secret sauce? And here we are 23 years later or whatever, and I'm still going.
Awesome. So a couple things that pop up to mind. One of them is a story about betta fish. I actually had a betta fish. We named him Henry, and we went on a vacation one day, and we tried to put in enough food to make sure he was going to be alive when we got back. As soon as we got back, we came and saw Henry put a little food in there. He got so excited, he had a heart attack and died. I've never seen anything like it.
Did you buy Henry from Walmart?
I don't remember exactly where I got Henry from.
Yeah, because Henry probably did not have a fair chance to start with.
Yeah, he was doing really good. I was surprised he lived like a week while we were gone, and then he got so excited. I mean, it was so funny. The other thing that really points out to me is ICQ and AOL chat and all these different early chat days, right? Those were working really, really good back in the day, before Skype and before Facebook and Messenger and all that stuff. So that was like a good indication that it's where things actually work. The actual real conversations that you have with other people work.
I made I was going to tell you, I made a huge mistake, and I've done it over and over and over again in my life. And I always look at something that's working, and I always say, oh, I can do that better. And I invest all this time, money, heartache, relationships, everything else. And back in the day, I said, oh, I can recreate the cookie cutter program, and I can do it so much better. Instead of just rolling with what was working, reinventing the wheel, right? Which don't reinvent the wheel, guys. And so I was on ICQ and AOL Instant Messenger, and I was talking to people here. I was going to build this big money-making program. It was called Legacy, or no, it was actually called Destiny Internet Marketing Solutions. Legacy was another failed venture. And I was talking to people that were creating something called a search engine. I was like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to build a money-making program, right? I could have been talking to the founders of Google back then. I have no clue.
That's pretty cool. You never know who you were talking to back in the day. That's for sure. The early adopters. Also, too. So the next question I want to get into here is, and also thanks for sharing your starting story. That was it's definitely cool to hear. You know, like you had some success and then some failures. You know, like these big bright ideas that you have, reinventing the wheel, and then failing, but there's probably some good lessons that happened along the way. Like you learned, you know, how to do a sales page, or you learned how to do a video sales letter, or the early days of learning how to write copy even. So a lot of us on this journey, this online journey, we've all kind of felt that. And a lot of people, even on this call, depending on where you're at right now, can kind of relate to that. My next question here is, what is the number one thing that you feel everyone is missing that is keeping them from being successful? What's like the missing common denominator? And for our listeners, what did you say?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we do have listeners, don't we?
Yeah.
There's no tool, there's no resource, there's no program. It's all in your head. If you don't have your head on straight, it doesn't matter what I create, doesn't matter what you create, doesn't matter how cool the bots are, how cool the membership platform is. None of that matters if you're not in the right mindset. And if you, man, I'll tell you what, whoever was out there and started this whole marketing is so easy, they should be shot. This is probably one of the hardest jobs in the world, because your greatest enemy is going to be your mind. And if you do not know what your why is. I got two little girls, man. Carl, I don't care how rough things get. I don't care if the page is not mobile responsive. I don't care if the freaking button doesn't work. I got two little girls that are looking up at their daddy, and I have to be the one setting the example. I never wanted to be a deadbeat dad, and things have gotten very, very rough to the point where I can remember the days I didn't have enough money to pay rent. I had to go out there and run webinars and stuff like that. The one thing that I've always had, and I'll tell you, I've had way more failures than successes. For every success I've had 10 failures. And a lot of times I wanted to throw in the towel and gone through heartache with relationships and divorce, and I've lost everything in life. This business has been rough on me. If I could do it again, it's probably a bad thing to say. If I could do it again, I would not have done it. And certainly, if I had to do it again, I would have done things different and not stepped in the spotlight. I'd have been working behind the scenes, working with clients, customers, and nobody would know who I was. And that would be a lot easier. And I know people hear that and they go, wow, this guy's crazy. No, this can be a hard business, especially if you're not in the right mind. And if you are not in the right mind, then to me, I've got it down to this. And it came from Denzel Washington, and I've never, ever forgot it. I'm not the smartest guy, Carl. I can't turn my TV on. I can't find my way home half the time. I struggle with software automations. I struggle with your platform. I struggle with everything. I'm not the smartest guy people think I am. It's why I've had to go and build out something that I could actually manage. It was easy for me because I struggled. And when you struggle, you lose money. But I will tell you this much. Even though I'm not the smartest guy, the one thing I learned was consistency and discipline. I don't have to be perfect at something. It doesn't always have to work. But as long as I keep coming back to it and I just do 1% better than I did the day before, man, I'm going to crack the code of this. And today, you're right. I can do my own graphics. I can do my own video. I can do my own sales copy. I can do my own launches. I can do everything in this business. Now, is that in my best interest to do this as a CEO? No. But when push comes to shove, and I know what my why is, failure is not an option.
I like that.
And it adds up at the end of the month. I could fail today, but let's see where I'm at the end of the month. Let's see where I'm at the end of the year. It's the ROI.
Yeah. Lots of actually lots of good nuggets in there. Some people may not take that the way that I'm taking it, but I think it's the entrepreneurial struggle. Like it sounds so sexy, it sounds so cool. Maybe I could be like Gary Vee one day or Grant Cardone or something like that. It sounds so sexy, but people don't realize the work that you actually have to put in to do this stuff. And that also these things that you learn, all these little failures, they kind of stack up and they turn into skill sets. And there's really no school system out there that teaches you how to do this stuff. And so, you got to kind of fail forward. If you're new and you're looking to do this, you have to fail forward. But if not, listen to what Chad said. Don't try to be the front guy. Be the guy behind the scenes. Find out what your strengths are. Maybe your strengths are on the technical side, or maybe your strengths are on the sales side. And then that's what you do. You put a team together where you find someone that's good at sales, or you find someone that's good on the technical side, and you match those two together, and then you're a force to be reckoned with. So really, really good advice there. Personally, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given that could be personal or professional or both?
The best piece of advice?
Yeah, the number one piece of advice you've ever been given that has helped you professionally or for business or personally.
It's going to sound crazy, but there was a time where we were looking at 7.5. I was working for a company, and I'll tell you this much. If you guys have a job or whatever, and you're put in a position of trust, anything with finances or whatever, and they decide, hey, for convenience, we're going to add you as a signer to a checking account, never, ever, I don't care what your title was. Mine was operations manager, and I took that on. And so I started signing the accounts, and I would approve the POs. I would do all those things. Here's what the IRS says about that. If you have the ability to pay those taxes, even if you don't own the company, even if you don't own a single, even if you're just an employee, if you have the ability to sign a check and pay those taxes, you're held personally liable. It's called a trust fund recovery penalty. I was looking at $7.5 million in back taxes that were not mine. They were going to take everything from me: my house, my cars, my wife, my kids, the cat, the dog, the birds, everything. My dad came to me one day and he said something I've never, ever forgot. And he said, son, at the end of the day, they can't shoot you. They can't shoot you. I've never, ever forgot that. If I got to go on stage, there was a time I was scared of that. If I got to do a webinar, there was a time I was scared of that. If I had to shoot a video, there was a time I was scared of that, Carl. And I always remember my dad saying, son, they can't shoot you. Which means go out there, give it your best shot, and you have a fresh start tomorrow. I still hear my dad. He's still alive. We're close, but I still hear him, 20 years later. Son, they can't shoot you, which means they can put you in hell, but you're going to live. You're going to survive another day, right? So yeah, probably not what you were expecting, but that's what I remember the most. And that's what's got me through and helped me face so many fears in life.
That's interesting. It's kind of like a memory that puts you in like a state, like a state of mind that prepares you for what's next, what you're doing. Like you said, going on stage, creating a video. I'm just even admitting that, because you're really good at it. Like you're one of the best people I know who can just go and shoot a video one take and it'll be nice. Sometimes take two takes. We do what we got to do sometimes, but you're one of the best I do, and also one of the sharpest looking. Like you dress for success when you do it. So I commend you for that, and it's good that everybody. I think in that same sense, it's not just a piece of advice, but there should be something that anchors you into a state of mind. I like to follow NLP, so I don't know if you do much NLP stuff, but that NLP stuff there's some anchoring techniques where either stepping into something or touching a way you touch yourself, or remembering a saying that puts you in that state of mind to just go after it. So
I really believe that there's moments you experience in life, there's things that you've been told that will stick with you, and it's written in the stars somewhere. You were supposed to hear that. It's supposed to stick with you the rest of your life. That was one of those moments from my dad. I don't have very many memories with him. He wasn't there as a dad. And the reason why I'm such a strong dad is because I didn't really have the dad I wanted to. But that is the one thing that I remember.
Awesome. Who do you consider, or do you have a mentor, or who do you consider your mentors?
Can you see the picture behind me?
Not very well.
So I've been asked that. So is Tony Robbins your mentor? Gary Vaynerchuk, Frank Kern? No, man, no. You know who my mentor is? It's Al Pacino. Isn't that crazy? You know why?
Yeah.
I have never ever seen. He doesn't have it anymore. He's an old man, but I had never in the 90s. I had never seen somebody that had the passion, the excitement, the synergy, like the hoo-ah! Like I loved it. I'm like, that's the guy that I want to be. When I hit my 40s, I want to be that guy. I want to have that passion. I want to have that synergy. And I was a loss prevention manager at Kmart, busting thieves. And he was my hero. I got him on both walls here. I know you've been in my office. And I wasn't even in the marketing at the time. And I just knew like somehow I wanted to have that synergy and that excitement and that passion in whatever I did in life. And so, a lot of people have said that to me. They've actually said, I've seen some of your videos and you have like the passion and excitement of like Al Pacino. And I Carl, I started thinking, and I've been told this by everybody I've been with, they say, you are one of the greatest manifestors I've ever witnessed in my life. Like I've literally watched you manifest things in like 5 minutes. And I was so focused on having the energy that actor had. When it's just me and the camera, I really believe that I can do that. And you know what? My girlfriend now said, we got to get you on the film. We got to get you on TV in Hollywood. I have no desire to do that. None of that stuff impresses me. Maybe at one time it did, but today I want people to see that I'm passionate and excited about the things that we're doing and what I believe in. And I studied Heat, Scent of a Woman, Serpico, Scarface, every single one of those, Carlito's Way, Carlito Brigante. Like I studied all that stuff and I was so attracted to it. And so, yeah, Al Pacino was my hero. He probably taught me some negative things too. I've learned some language that has been appropriate at times that was very dramatic and it sounded great. But yeah, that's who I took after.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor. I always think of Any Given Sunday, that speech he gave about getting, getting 1 inch, getting that extra inch in life, what that means. That's the difference between winning and losing.
Isn't that brilliant?
Oh yeah, that is one of the most brilliant. I mean, I'll put in our show notes a link to that. So if anybody that's listening, you could go to our show notes and get a link to listen to that speech if you've never heard it. It's a moving speech that will literally move you off the ground when you listen to it. It actually gives me goosebumps thinking about it right now.
Yeah, me too. But it's not just, okay, man, he's a great motivator because the synergy, the energy, the passion he brings. But when you hear that speech, he's like confronting demons and he's like, look, I'm nothing no more. I spent all my money. I lost my marriage. I screwed up everything in life. I mean, yeah, it was, I almost feel like there's probably some truth to that speech, that it's a reflection on his life. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the man. I'd love to meet the man. So if anybody has connections, please do that. But yeah, what a great motivator. He has been such a motivational figure in my life. I can't even, yeah, it's unbelievable. Hopefully I can get him to do one of our events one of these times. That would be amazing.
That'd be pretty awesome. So last question here. Are you using chatbots in your business?
What do you think, Carl? If you're not using chatbots, you're a fool. You're an absolute fool. To be honest and truthful with you, we use chatbots for everything. I'm using chatbots for a promotion right now. We just did a launch yesterday. It's doing very well. When I do my webinars, I got a chatbot going out there. I've tripled the conversions on my webinars, not just the attendance, but the conversions. If I go live on my wall, Facebook's made a lot of changes. I'm pretty active with their communities and groups. I've learned how to do a lot of amazing things in Facebook groups, and they made some changes and they flipped some switches and notifications don't go out and groups are muted now. And so with a chatbot, you know, instead of having 7 people on a call, I've been able to get 80, 90 people on a call like that fast. And people are like, how are you doing that? I'm like, I'm not going to tell you. But the secret is I'm doing it with the chatbot. If I have a simple video, I send out that bot. I send out, I'm filling events. I create an event. Hey, would you be interested in coming out to Las Vegas and joining me at the Ever Mentor Mastermind? If they say yes, a little video pops up. Great. Here's what we have going on. We're going to book this room for you at the, you know, and I'm using it for everything. And literally, I know people will say this and not mean it, but I will tell you that with your Segmate bot, and we believed in it so much, we integrated it with every platform we have. There's some platforms integrations going on that my students don't even know about yet because we're working on behind the scenes on a lot of things. I've been able to triple my business, Carl, with what you've created. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you, and that's awesome. It's actually been really cool watching you use your bots, especially for like your live videos. And I know like we took your rates from, we probably 3x'd your show rate, and then your replays have probably even gone up quite a bit more.
And if I can just say this, a lot of people hit me up. They're like, well, why aren't you using my bot? Why aren't you using ManyChat? Why aren't you doing this? I'm like, because here's the problem. You won't get on the phone with me and solve problems in real time. And you certainly won't work with my staff members, and you won't help me strategize or anything else. You just want me to go do a webinar and sell to my students and put the cash in your pocket. I'm teamed up with you, Carl, because you spend a lot of time with my team, with my staff, with my students. That goes a long ways with me, because as I told you from the start, I'm not that smart, man. I need the help. And when you go to chatbots and sequences, and so I have gifts. My gifts are video, they're the stage, they're the webinar. I'll tell you what, you learned the hard way today. I will screw up every appointment I have, and I own an appointment system. I will screw up every automation possible, and I own an automation system, not a bot system, but the lead conversion system, and I still screw it up. And so I need the help. And so when somebody like you is willing to step in and help me and my team, that saves my bacon right there.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and I really appreciate you for coming on, Chad. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, the first part. Guys, so excited to have Chad here. I hope you guys got a lot of good information and nuggets. Chad has really come a long way in his business. He's really actually, you know, he says that he doesn't get things, but he's actually a very brilliant guy when it comes to marketing and working with teams. He's built an amazing team of developers and marketers around him. He's got an amazing team of people that work with them. I've had the pleasure and honor to work with some of those people. Chad, anything else you want to leave us with?
You know, everything changed for me when I quit chasing the money. I quit chasing the people. I stopped trying to get traffic, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to provide a transformational value in the lives of other people. I actually made this post after I went through my divorce. It wasn't a post, it was a Facebook header. I went through a divorce 5 years ago, and I'm sure you've seen this in my header. It says, my goal is to provide a transformational value in the lives of other people. I met a guy, I'll put his name out there because he's a scumbag. His name was Bill Tusher, and he was advertising. He kept posting all these images about how he was selling high ticket for 50,000, 100,000, everything else. And so it intrigued me. I didn't know anything about high ticket. This about 5 years ago. I got on a call with him, and he told me that when you learn to provide a transformational value in the lives of other people, then you can make this kind of money too. And so I'm good at putting that out in the universe. I make lists of everything I want in my life, and believe it or not, Carl, it comes true. I manifest things very quickly. And so I pulled in those words, transformational value, and I put it out there on my Facebook header, and it's been there for 5 years, and I put that out in the universe, and little by little, I actually started learning to provide a transformational value in the lives of other people. Now, I also went and invested with that scumbag. I think it was like $25,000. He took my money and ran, but still, that was still like one game-changing moment for me. It was the epiphany moment in my life. So quit focusing on the money and the traffic and the marketing, and just take care of the people that are there, and then watch how God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, watch how those gaps are just filled.
I love it. Provide a transformational value. So there you guys go. If you provide a transformational value, the money will come, and stop focusing on the money. Love it, Chad. Thanks for coming on. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. This is the Chatbots and Digital Marketing Podcast. I'm going to go ahead and shoot this back over to myself with some ending credit notes, and we'll see you and talk to you guys soon. All right, Chatbots and Digital Marketing Podcast listeners, this was episode number 17. Thank you so much for tuning in and not tuning out and paying attention to these phenomenal guests that I keep bringing onto our show just for you. Now, a couple of things about today's call. There was some show notes that you will be able to find at the Medium blog. Just go to medium.com and search Chatbots and Digital Marketing. You will find us, and then you'll find also show notes for all of our episodes. On top of that, if you found us on YouTube or Facebook or any of the video platforms that we're using, make sure to share, make sure to subscribe, make sure to pound those hearts or those thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. It lets me know that we're doing a good job here. And then finally, if you're on your favorite podcast platform, make sure to follow us there as well. That way that podcast platform will notify you when we have new episodes. And if you're enjoying them, that's fantastic. Other than that, this is Carl Schuckert. We do have a sponsor, segmateapp.com. You can go there for a 14-day free trial. It's segmateapp.com. And you can sign up for a free trial, which is my messenger marketing platform, where you can crush it with do-it-yourself services, messenger bots online. Okay. Other than that, guys, excited that you were attending, and we'll see you guys very soon on the very next one. Thanks.